Hello and welcome to the show. Before we begin, I'd like to apologize because there's some noise in the background, and that's because today is a really rainy day in Abuja. Now, I know that the more professional thing to do is actually to wait and then make this recording when the rain stops, but I don't want to risk not having a podcast episode ready for today, especially since this podcast episode was inspired by a number of conversations that I had at the Brunch and Bond Ladies Business and Professional Networking session yesterday in Abuja. The topic for today is inbound marketing better than outbound sales? That is the train of thought that we've been tackling for the last 2 or 3 days. It's not what we discussed at the ladies' networking session with Brunch and Bond yesterday, because yesterday's topic for me and the co-host handle was around building a bridge to greater sales. So building a bridge to greater sales, that was the topic for yesterday. But the topic that we've been following on the podcast is around inbound marketing, outbound sales, inbound business, outbound business, the two different philosophies to building a business. That's what we've been exploring. But there's a link between the two, and you will see as we go on with the episode. So, before I get into this whole thing of inbound marketing versus outbound sales, which is better? If you're a newbie, this is your first time listening to the podcast, after you're done listening to this, skip to yesterday's episode and maybe 2-3 days prior, and you'll be caught up to speed about what inbound marketing is, about what outbound business philosophies are, what the difference is, how they relate to each other, and things of that nature. And then it'll all make sense why we're having the debate today whether inbound marketing is better than outbound sales. So, now the detour. Yesterday, like I said, I handled a training session with Brunch and Bond, Ladies Business and Professional Networking Association in Abuja, and the topic was building a bridge to bigger sales or greater sales. I can't remember. I really should have had the flyer before me. Anyway, where are we? So, relevant. Is this a relevant topic for today? Yes, it's a very relevant topic. That's building a bridge to greater sales. It's a relevant topic because yesterday I was with a group of ambitious, inspiring, focused, and disciplined female entrepreneurs from multiple industries. There was someone from the medical space, the owner of an eye clinic. I'm not sure if they are optometrists or ophthalmologists or opto something. I know that there are three kind of optos and I get them mixed up. So I'm not sure which opto this lady is, Dr. Ini. Yeah, I think I remember her name, Dr. Ini. So I'm not sure what kind of opto that Dr. Ini is, but she owns her own eye clinic. So she's not involved in the day-to-day operations of the clinic per se. She's not seeing patients. She has, what are they called? Uh, I can't remember what they're called. It's not residents. I think they're called residents. Like when you own a hospital and then there are doctors who work for you or students who or interns passing through training. I think they're all called residents. So let me just assume that they're called residents. If they're not, and you're a medical person listening to this podcast, forgive me. I don't know everything about everything. So she has lots of residents working for her. She's the business owner making everything happen. We had some people in fashion design and tailoring, and at different levels. Those who only respond to people via Instagram and online, those who have physical store locations, and there was also one lady who only does the back end function. That is, you go to your favorite fashion house and you go there with your design, and the people make the cloth, and you actually think that it's your favorite designer who's making it, but it's actually this lady who the job has been subcontracted to. So different people working in the fashion and design space along different aspects of the value chain. So that was really, really interesting as well, because I know nothing about fashion. For those of you who know me, you know that I have the fashion style of a Ghanaian school teacher. That's what my wife says. My mom's fashion sense of a carpenter. So if you do see me at any of these training sessions and you think I look nice, I look sharp, you have my wife to thank for that. or you might have my mom to thank for that. Maybe she bought something years ago and I happen to be wearing it right now. So if I look fly at any of these things, no, it's my wife, no, it's my mom. Then we also have people in female skincare. I didn't know that children's skincare was a thing, but apparently, children have skin issues, and yes, my own one of my sons had skin issues. One had a nappy rash. That was a really frightening time for me because I had never seen nappy rash before. I thought his bum was on fire. I thought I could see blood, but the doctor was like, "Oh, this is actually quite mild. Just use this cream. You'll be fine." So, apart from established medical ways of dealing with it, apparently there are things that you're supposed to be careful about when it comes to children's skincare. Some kind of products are not supposed to be used on some kinds of skin. Some kind of products that you use as a father or a mother can affect your child harshly. Like, let's say you love this particular kind of Vaseline or this particular kind of perfume or this particular kind of thing because you think it makes your skin nice and glow. But then every time you hug your child breaks out in hives. So that actually is a thing. So not just female skincare, children's skincare. There were also people there in the hospitality space, online retail space. There was someone there who was a tech and systems person. She's responsible for business infrastructure, and she happened to be my co-host for the day. I'm going to make another podcast episode, maybe 2 or 3 days down the line, where I'll talk about her presentation and different aspects of her business, in case you can find those things, in case you find those things useful in your business. Then there also was the owner of a spa. I'm not sure what industry a spa is. If you know what it is, send me a DM on Instagram or whatever, just so I can be educated. I didn't want to lump spas in with hospitality because I always thought that hospitality was more like hotels. What else? Hotels and those sorts of things, and family fun time. So I don't know of a spa. Anyway, so from what you can see, a group of people, different industries, but we all want the same thing. We all want greater sales because of the lifestyle that it can afford for us, because of the way it can help us care for our families, because of how it can affect the way we pay for school fees and house rent, the way we pay for, we take care of our employees. And then there are some of the women who are at the session who are really, really mindful about social impact of businesses. I'm not there yet because as far as I'm concerned, I just want to make as much cheddar as I want to. But I guess you could argue that there's a social impact to the sorts of things that I put out there because I'm helping other people thrive and survive. So, yeah, there are lots of people there and we're all gathered to try and figure out how we can grow our sales. So, how does yesterday's training session relate to our topic for today? This is the way it relates. We were there, and the question was, how do we build a bridge to greater sales? But if you happen to be there with me, you would have noticed that all the women in attendance were already trying out different combinations of inbound and outbound. If you don't know what those mean, this is your first time listening to the show, remember, after this episode, skip back and you'll be caught up to speed. So, this topic that we've been discussing for the past 3-4 days is not theoretical. It's not something that professors dreamed up, and it's not just something that business nerds argue about all the time. This isn't theoretical because businesswomen all over Nigeria and businesswomen all over the world are already considering these things and considering these arguments. Should I be going inbound or outbound? They're trying to figure out what is an effective way to broach the market, to approach the market. The only thing is they just don't know that these conversations that they're having are inbound or outbound, which is better. Some of the conversations during the session were around these things, people arguing about this and about that because people had different questions. This is what works for me, that is what works for you. But they don't know that that's the very argument that they're having, the topic that we've been broaching for the past 3 or 4 days. Inbound versus outbound, which is better. I'd like to give thanks to Stephanie. She was one of the cohort from the day, and she's the one who is into children and female skincare. So not just the mummies and ladies looking glammed up, but making sure that children have healthy skincare routines as well. So she's mostly, her thing is mostly social media sales, WhatsApp and Instagram. She's one of these people that has linked into this whole what's it called? You have all these APIs and apps and bots and things like that. So she has things set out so that you hit up the website and it triggers a WhatsApp thing, and so she gets a message on her phone, and then she can start having conversations with you. And it's the same with the Instagram, but basically that's the thing: Instagram, website, what else, and then WhatsApp. Now, the reason why I'd like to give thanks to her is because she corrected me on something that I hasn't dawned on me in the over 630 episodes that we've done for so far. She told me that because I stress this thing that sales is a conversation, I always assume, and I'm always using examples where people are having face-to-face conversations. I'm really sorry, but for some reason, that has never dawned on me. Yes, whether I'm talking about architects or carpenters or people who sell chicken or lawyers or musicians or whatever, I have always assumed that people are having face-to-face conversations, and the Instagram, the WhatsApp, the email, or the whatever has led to a face-to-face conversation. So there are thousands of entrepreneurs like her out there in Nigeria doing business almost solely on text-based mediums, whether it's ManyChat, WhatsApp, Instagram DMs, LinkedIn, private messages, what else? Okay, I've already said ManyChat on Facebook, or SMS. So in the future, I'm going to do my best to recognize that and use examples that these folks, who are mostly text-based entrepreneurs, can relate to as well. So now, back to the topic for today: inbound or outbound. Which is better? The example we're going to use today, we're going to go with Stephanie's example. If you're launching a skincare line, should you do inbound, which would involve building content and building communities online so that your buyers can find you? Or should you be doing outbound, which is face-to-face, real-world activities, going out, looking for people to talk to, attending trade shows, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. So if this is your first time listening, that just gives you a hint. But still, go back and listen to the older episodes from 2-3 days back about inbound, outbound, so you can get the full picture of what inbound is and what outbound comprises. So, which is better if you're launching a skincare line, if you're like Stephanie? What's the answer? Should you be doing inbound or should you be doing outbound? Should you be doing online or should you be doing real world? The answer: it depends on who you are and it depends on what you are trying to build. So, remember, Stephanie, part of the crew at Brunch and Bond, which is a business and professional networking association in Abuja. We handled a training session yesterday, just in case you skipped the early part of the podcast, so you know where we are. So, she had tried physical prospecting in the past, but she is not comfortable with the volume of people that you have to churn through to get a sale. Because if you're doing this face-to-face thing, if you're doing prospecting, the old school methods that I like, the volume is high. If you talk to 10 people, there's no guarantee that 10 people are going to buy your baby skincare product. There's no guarantee that 10 people are going to buy. There's also no guarantee that one person is going to buy. So you might talk to 10 people and get 0. You might talk to 10 people and get 8. There are lots of factors beyond your control. Well, the targeting is at your control, but there's an element of chance that's involved. And so she wasn't comfortable with the volume of churn, the number of people she has to talk to get one sale, investing a lot of time and effort. So she decided that this prospecting thing is not for her. Rather, she was going to put up entertaining content over on Instagram, and she has done so for the past 3 years. And like I said, it's bringing in inquiries to the DM, to the WhatsApp, and to the website. Her challenge now, being part of the program, or rather one of the challenges, was coming up with scripts and frameworks for engaging people to lead to more sales. Because there's no point having 20 Instagram DMs if after you chat with all of them, only 2 of them end up buying. That's not good. If you have 20 people who reach out to you every week, if you're doing business with 2 of them and business is good, then imagine what could happen if you end up doing business with 4 a week, or 6 a week, or 10. But the bottom line, what I'm trying to say is that this inbound formula works. This thing that Stephanie did, it works. I'm going to come up with entertaining content. I'm going to live on Instagram. I'm going to do this for 3 years. And God willing, I'm going to bring in these inquiries to my DM. And once I get them in my DM, I'm going to convert. I'm going to make them a customer. So this inbound thing, it works. But it only works if you have the discipline to do what it takes. Stephanie, in particular, sometimes posts 20 times a day. She doesn't do 20 times a day every single day. Sometimes it's 10, but sometimes it's as much as 20 times a day. She does social media challenges that trend, like the dancing and the pointing stuff. She also invents her own challenges to help her trend. Like she was giving us the gist about how she rented a wedding gown, she rented a truck, she did some mock storylines and things like that. Really impressive. Impressive. I'm impressed by what people go through or think up to promote their business. So this is stuff that she's doing on a daily basis, and she has been doing for the last 3 years. She admits that she's tired of dancing, and so she has had staff to do the dancing and the pointing challenges and that sort of thing. So, but one thing to bear in mind, if you didn't get it, I want to repeat it again. She has been doing this consistently for 3 years. So if you think that prospecting, talking to people one-on-one, that is hard, so let me do this online thing. Online is easy. If you think inbound is easy, you're in for a very rude surprise. Outbound is hard work, yeah. But inbound is also hard work too. The thing is, in Stephanie's case, she has the wisdom or knowledge of self, or whatever it is you want to call it, to be able to choose the kind of hard work that she can afford to do. Like, this slapping up and down, I don't really dig this kind of hard work. This other one is hard work, but this is hard work I can do, and I can do it 200%. Because let me tell you guys, posting 20 times a day is not a joke. I have over 600 episodes here, over 630 episodes here. I share 4 episodes every day on LinkedIn. And I won't lie, sharing 4 episodes every day on LinkedIn is work. I get tired sharing 4 times a day. Not to talk of creating 20 times a day. Man, that's hard work. I mean, more power to her. I must admit, a lot of these women involved in some of these industries have a level of discipline, have a level of drive that I did not imagine, and I had no idea the kind of work that goes into what we see on some of these things. So you look at some of these beauty influencers, they're looking fly and everything, and you just think, oh, she woke up, she put on some makeup, and then that was it. No, there's serious work that goes into this. Anyway, so can you use outbound to bring your product to the market in the same industry as Stephanie? Let's say you're one of Stephanie's competitors. Does it have to be what she did? Or can you do outbound stuff, traditional methods, slapping around, talking to people, real world things? Does beauty and skincare business always have to mean social media influencing? Because I do run into people who say they want to do beauty, they want to do skincare, and then the next thing is they say, let me go and set up my Instagram handle. Does it always have to be the case? The answer is no. There's a case in point. It's a very old case in point. Maybe it's conveniently old because back then there was no social media. I think it was 1960 something? 63? I can't remember anyway. But for those of you who know this story, hit me up so I can have the correct date. Mary Kay Beauty Products, that's what I'm referring to. Their main way of accessing the market is this. And it is this way because that is how the founder did it. The founder did it this way, found it worked, and so she started training other people to do the same thing. So don't say that this thing works because they're a huge conglomerate. They're an international business. They're a huge conglomerate and international business today, but they weren't always the case. There was a time when Mary Kay Beauty Products was just one woman, Mary Kay herself, slapping from here to there, inviting people to her house. Real world stuff, the hard work, the whole talking to 20 people and only getting one person to buy. So, her main way of accessing the market, or rather the business way of accessing the market today, is to have well-trained sales consultants and distributors. I think they call them beauty consultants, style consultants. They call them some sort of consultant anyway. So they train these sales consultants, they train these distributors, they take young women, and it's only young women for a reason, because Mary Kay is interested in female empowerment. That's their thing. They want to make money, they want to be billionaires, but for them, female empowerment is the thing. So if you're a guy and you like beauty, don't bother applying. Mary Kay is not going to hire you. It's only women. So they take young women and then they train them in beauty, they train them in skincare, they train them in sales, they train them in marketing. For women who end up being successful, the business will give some support in financing, in merchandising, and in what's the other word? Franchising. Yeah. So they're going to give you a territory, continued support, and they have these women go out and sell. slapping and talking to people. Sorry, when I say in this part of the world, or rather, when I went to OAU, if we said somebody was slapping, it didn't mean you were hitting people in the face. It just means you are trekking all over the place. Because as a student, you run out of money, you have to slap. If you don't have money to take a bus, you slap. You trek all over town. So where was I? Yeah, so the women slap, they go out, talk to folks, and did that outbound formula work? It did. It worked for Mary Kay. She became rich. It worked for all the people that they train. It's $1 billion company today. It's international, over 100 countries. So it works. And this is an organization that is built exclusively on outbound. If you don't believe me, think about it. When was the last time you saw an advertisement for Mary Kay on Instagram? You haven't. When was the last time you heard an advertisement for Mary Kay on radio? You haven't. When was the last time you saw advertisements for Mary Kay on TV? You haven't. They don't do that. It's old school. The way that people have been doing business from the beginning of the world. It's leg powered. You dress up, you put on your shoes, you take your suitcase, you walk from here to here, as in you walk tire. You invite people to your house, you go to people's offices. It's $1 billion industry. That's how it has been built. So, does it have to be Stephanie's way or does it have to be Mary Kay's way? The answer is no. It depends on who you are. It depends on what you're trying to build. For those of you who are afraid of living on social media, like I am, because really I'm afraid of living on social media. I'm not afraid. I do what I need to do. But sharing 4 times a day, it's getting tiring. I won't lie. So if you're afraid of living on social media, you're afraid of putting up content, you don't want to do this sort of thing consistently for 3 years at a stretch. Because, I have been podcasting. I think my own podcast is 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. And you think that outward things, the Mary Kay option is going to be easy, then you're in for a big surprise. Whichever option you choose, if you choose Stephanie's way, it's hard work. If you choose Mary Kay's way, it's hard work. So what's the answer? What's the best thing for you to do? Start with the one that you are already doing naturally. Mary Kay was already doing outbound naturally. So for her, it made sense to go all in. And she ended up being extremely rich. And her company is $1 billion company. For Stephanie, who has gone in the inbound way, lean in. And she can also end up building a billion naira company as well. Or $1 billion company as well. Let me not sell her short. So start with whatever it is that you're doing naturally. Then the next step, schedule a conversation with me so that we can work out the gaps in what it is that you're already doing, whether it's inbound or outbound. Let's try and reinforce what is working. Let's try and see where we can get some benefits from the opposite business mindset. Because those of you who are extremely inbound, like you key into this whole internet thing real hard, there's stuff that you can learn from those of us who are outbound folks. Because we're really good at scheduling appointments, guiding conversations, getting the close, trying to figure out people want. We face-to-face people. That's our thing. So those are stuff that you can learn. And then for those of us who are outbound, face-to-face, make presentation, attend meeting, trek from here to there, go to Orga's office, invite somebody to your own office, there's stuff we can learn from these online people. There's some hardcore discipline that goes into what it is that they do. And they're into systemization, automation, stuff like that. Like there's a lot that we old school people can learn from these new school people, and it will make our business better. So there's no ultimate answer. It depends on the business context you're in, and it depends on where you want to see yourself in a few years. So connect with me on LinkedIn or other social media. Let's help you sort out a unique plan for your own unique business experience and your own unique business goals. Thanks again to Stephanie for showing me how I've been doing social media wrong, and for recommending concrete steps about how to turn my Instagram profile around. Part of the female charism is correcting your husbands, correcting your sons, correcting your brothers when they aren't on the right path. I know this is not a popular thing to say today, to refer to the female charism, but this is part of the female charism. So, by extension, I want to say thanks to the bunch of Amazons that I hung out with yesterday at Brunch and Bond, Abuja, for letting me impact them, and also for them teaching me the things that I need to do to improve on, so that I can also make my own business more successful. If you want me to come talk to your employees, your business association, then connect with me on LinkedIn or other social media, and we'll make that happen. So that's all for today, folks. Thanks for listening. Remember, you can subscribe for free. I want to emphasize the free because somebody asked me at the session yesterday, how much do I have to pay to access your podcast? You don't have to pay anything. There's nobody who's listening to this right now who has paid for anything. You might have paid for Apple iTunes and you're listening to me through Apple iTunes, but it doesn't mean I'm charging you a thing. It's just that they happen to run a paid subscription thing for now. But you can access podcasts for free. Even if you haven't paid your Apple iTunes levy or fee or whatever it is that allows you to listen to music, you'll be able to listen to my stuff for free. So you're not paying any money. Name of the show is Sales for the Nigerian Business Person Podcast. I get the sense that this podcast title is too long. I'll have to look for a new podcast title eventually. But don't worry, the feed will always remain the same. I'm available and confirmed on Spotify, on Google, Apple iTunes, Pocket Cast, Overcast, any podcast player of your choice. Somebody asked me about Boom something, Boom whatever. That's a podcast player I've not even heard of before. It seems like there's so many. So, remember you can connect with me on LinkedIn. The name is Taveshima Ayede. If you don't know what the spelling is, because yesterday I saw different spellings of my name. It was incredible. So, you don't know the spelling of my name, just look to the profile in whatever podcast player that you're listening to now. You see my photo there. You see my email address right underneath the correct spelling of my name. So look me up, let's connect, and let's see how we can get our money right. So thanks for your time and attention. I'll catch you guys at the next recording. And I think since we're done with inbound versus outbound, I'll just move straight to the brunch and bond. I'll move straight into that. We'll discuss, we'll look at stuff that I discussed with them and share a couple of the questions that they had. Then the day after that, we will do the material that my co-host or my co-presenter or whatever it is you call us folks, what she did. And all right, so we'll take it from there. I'll catch you guys at the next episode.